Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going to talk about something many people think about almost every day: work-life balance. You've probably heard this phrase many times. Maybe you've even said, "I need better work-life balance." But what does it really mean? And why is it so difficult to achieve? Let's start with a simple idea. Work-life balance means having enough time and energy for both your job and your personal life. Your job might include meetings, deadlines, emails, and responsibilities. Your personal life includes your family, friends, hobbies, rest, and your health. In theory, it sounds simple: just divide your time fairly between work and life. But in reality, it's much more complicated. One reason work-life balance is so hard is that work today is very different from the past. Years ago, many people had clear working hours. For example, they worked from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and when they left the office, work stayed there. Today, that line is not so clear. With smartphones, laptops, and the internet, work can follow us everywhere. You might check emails in the evening, answer messages on the weekend, or think about work problems while trying to relax. Even when you are not officially working, your mind may still be busy with work. Another challenge is expectations, both from others and from ourselves. Many workplaces expect employees to be available all the time. If your boss sends a message at 9 p.m., you may feel pressure to reply quickly. Even if nobody says it directly, you might worry that saying no could affect your career. At the same time, we often expect a lot from ourselves. We want to be successful, productive, and respected. We want to do our best. But sometimes, this means we take on too much. There is also the idea of being busy as a sign of success. In many cultures, being busy is seen as something positive. People say things like, "I'm so busy," almost with pride. It can feel like if you are not busy, you are not important or not working hard enough. This way of thinking makes it harder to slow down and take breaks. It can even make us feel guilty when we rest. Let's talk about technology again, because it plays a big role. Technology helps us work faster and communicate more easily. That's a good thing. But it also creates new problems. For example, messages arrive instantly, and people expect quick replies. Social media can also make things harder. When you see others posting about their achievements, travels, or perfect lives, you might feel pressure to do more and be more. This can push you to work harder and longer, leaving less time for rest. Another important point is that work and life are not always separate. For many people, work is a big part of their identity. When someone asks, "What do you do?" they usually mean your job. Because of this, it can be difficult to disconnect from work emotionally. If something goes wrong at work, it can affect your mood at home. And if you are very passionate about your job, you might choose to spend more time working, even when you don't have to. Now let's look at personal life. It's not always easy either. Family responsibilities, relationships, and daily tasks all require time and energy. If you have children, for example, your schedule may be very full. Even if you don't, you still need time for things like cooking, cleaning, exercising, and resting. When work takes too much time, these areas can suffer. You might feel tired, stressed, or disconnected from people you care about. So far, it may sound a bit negative. But understanding the problem is the first step to improving it. Let's now explore why finding balance is not just about time, but also about energy and attention. You may have a few free hours after work, but if you feel exhausted, it's hard to enjoy that time. You might just sit on the couch and scroll on your phone. That's not always real rest. Good balance means having the energy to do things that make you feel happy and relaxed. Another important idea is that balance is not the same every day. Some days are busier than others. Sometimes you may need to work longer hours to finish a project. Other times, you may focus more on your personal life. Balance is not about perfect equality every day. It's more like a long-term situation. Over time, both work and life should get enough attention. Let's talk about boundaries. Boundaries are limits you set to protect your time and energy. For example, you might decide not to check work emails after a certain hour. Or you might keep your weekends free from work tasks. Setting boundaries can be difficult, especially if your workplace culture is very demanding. But without boundaries, work can easily take over your life. Saying no is also an important skill. Many people find this very hard. You may not want to disappoint others or miss opportunities. But saying yes to everything often leads to stress and burnout. Learning to say no politely and clearly can help you protect your time. For example, you can say, "I'd love to help, but I don't have enough time right now." This shows respect for both yourself and others. Another strategy is to plan your time more carefully. This doesn't mean every minute must be planned, but having a general structure can help. For example, you can decide in advance when you will work, exercise, relax, and spend time with others. When you plan your free time, you are more likely to actually enjoy it instead of losing it to small distractions. Let's also talk about rest. Many people underestimate how important rest is. Rest is not just sleep, although sleep is very important. Rest also includes activities that help your mind relax, such as reading, walking, listening to music, or spending time in nature. Without enough rest, your productivity at work can decrease, and your mood can suffer. In other words, rest is not a waste of time, it is necessary. There is also the idea of quality over quantity. You may not have many hours of free time, but you can still make that time meaningful. For example, 1 hour of focused, enjoyable activity can be more valuable than several hours of distracted time. Try to be present in what you are doing. If you are with your family, focus on them. If you are relaxing, allow yourself to truly relax. Another challenge is that everyone's situation is different. Some people have flexible jobs, while others have strict schedules. Some people work from home, while others must travel to an office. Because of this, there is no single solution for everyone. You need to find what works best for your life and your priorities. It's also important to think about what really matters to you. What are your values? What makes you feel happy and satisfied? For some people, career success is very important. For others, family or personal growth is more important. There is no right or wrong answer. But being clear about your priorities can help you make better decisions about how to spend your time. Let's not forget about mental health. When work-life balance is poor, stress can increase. Over time, this can lead to burnout, which is a state of emotional and physical exhaustion. Signs of burnout include feeling tired all the time, losing motivation, and feeling negative about your work. Taking care of your balance is one way to protect your mental health. Talking to others can also help. You might discover that your colleagues feel the same way. Sharing your experiences can reduce stress and even lead to positive changes at work. For example, a team might agree not to send emails late at night, or to respect each other's free time. Finally, remember that balance is a process, not a final goal. Your life will change over time. Your job, your relationships, and your responsibilities will all evolve. What works for you today may not work next year. That's okay. The important thing is to stay aware and make adjustments when needed. So, why is work-life balance so hard? Because work is always available, expectations are high, technology connects us all the time, and our own habits can make it difficult to stop. But even though it is challenging, it is not impossible. By setting boundaries, managing your time and energy, and understanding your priorities, you can create a better balance. Before we finish, here's a simple question for you to think about. What is one small change you can make this week to improve your work-life balance? It could be something simple, like turning off notifications after a certain time, going for a short walk, or spending an evening without checking your email. Thank you for listening today. I hope this episode gave you some useful ideas and made you think about your own balance. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode.